Well, hello. So I fucked a bunch of people today. I call it bookkeeping. But I digress. Um, I am really annoyed at, or disappointed rather, at some of these YouTube creators that I love watching, that I thought did really great content. I love their personalities, but they have resorted to clickbait to try to lure me in. And then the title, which is like shocking news about, was this person really involved in this? Was this person really behind this? What was the motive for the murder? And then I watched the video and there's nothing revealed. There's no shocking news. They don't tell you the motive behind the murder. They still don't know if this other person's involved. Um, they still don't tell me the outcome of whatever thing they think is going to happen. It's just clickbait. And then they go on and on and on, just wasting my time. And they're lying to me. When people do clickbait, they're lying and they lost my trust. So I gave each of these people a couple chances and I'm going to unsubscribe. Even though I like their channels. It's very disrespectful to use clickbait to get me to watch your video when you have nothing to say that is related to the topic. It's manipulative and it's lying, and I think there's a desperation. Now, what is this desperation? I've only noticed this in the past week. I'm like, why am I watching this? And I'm not getting anything out of it. And for this one colonel guy, I spent like an hour watching this video waiting for the thing that was in the title, and there was nothing there. It was just all clickbait. And I'm just wondering if anyone else has noticed this. Is this like, are some of these YouTube creators getting desperate, or what is happening? By the way, I watched one of the videos from a very successful content creator on YouTube called The Lead Attorney. Now, some of these guys, these are a couple of black guys I watch. I watch The Lead Attorney, and sometimes I watch The Pascal Show. You have to use the. The Pascal Show and Lead Attorney. Their channels are good. I don't watch them very often because they do live streams, and the live streams are so long, and they stop and talk about their super chats. And it gets super boring, but they know how to draw out. When they talk slower, they get more people to give them donations, super stickers. And so yesterday I watched that video from The Lead Attorney. I'm like, oh, I wonder what he's up to. Well, he talked about his first $100,000 month. And because he has a course on how to be a YouTube content creator. I haven't taken it. I don't know if it's good or not, but he does teach that, has a course on it that he talks about. And he said he has had two over $100,000 months. And a lot of it is these super chats that people can leave when they live stream. So that's one way that these people make money. They have something they want to tell you, and they draw it out in this long live stream. But that's authentic. That's fine. I'm not going to watch someone yap on for 2 or 3 hours. I'm sorry. I'm just not that invested in any one person to talk that long and draw things out. I'm like, get to the point and keep me interested. Because when they stop to talk about the super stickers or read the comments, I'm bored. I am checked out. I don't give a shit about you needing to give praise or affirmation to the people who gave you money. Like, that's just lame. Just give me a good video, okay? That's just to say people can make a lot of money on YouTube. By the way, there was a YouTube scandal about a guy I used to watch during the Johnny Depp trial called Nick Rekieta. He's a lawyer. He's been on YouTube forever. Apparently, he helped a lot of other YouTubers get started. He was very helpful to them. He's the one that really got the whole live stream thing going, like an innovator. He's married, father of 5, homeschooling and all that. Well, a couple years ago, his drinking on the live streams just started getting like out of hand, and then he added a lot of powdery stuff, and he was just, the cops just, he was arrested, okay, for drug possession, child endangerment, all this stuff just a couple days ago. So the YouTubers are talking about him. So there's this whole YouTube world thing, but this video, I'm just giving you a little bit more stuff I just want to talk about. But this video is more about these other channels, not any of the ones I just mentioned. These are other channels, and I'm not going to mention them, that use clickbaity titles to get people to watch the video because they're trying to get more views. They're trying to get more views, and it seems like almost an act of desperation to me. Like, are these people hurting for money or what? But I'm curious if you've noticed anything like that too, or if it's just an outlier, because I've only noticed this on 3 channels in the last week. So I don't know. I'm just wondering, but I don't like it. I'm unsubscribing, because if you lie to me, if you trick me with a title just to watch your video so you can get some money off my view on your ads, that's kind of a turnoff. It makes me not want to engage with you anymore. Like, now you've lied, you're disappointing. Like, it's better to make, I know you gotta make catchy titles, but the title should reflect the content of the video. And if people are desperate for content, like a lot of these people with the catchy titles, they're used to reporting on the news. Well, maybe on something that they want to report about, there is no news. So they might resort to something like, okay, like the Jennifer Soto, the mom of the daughter who was killed by the boyfriend who was the pedophile, Maddie Soto. So some of these people are coming out with videos like, was the mother involved? What did the mother really know? And I watched the video, and there's nothing in there. They don't have any new information on what the mother really knew. They don't know. They didn't interview her friends. They didn't talk to law enforcement. They didn't talk to the neighbors. There's nothing new. Or another case, which is the Karen Reed case in Boston. You might want to look that up. The corrupt Canton Police Department and all the insiders who kind of framed her. But there's a whole bunch of stuff about that I've been following. And then there was a video the other day about what was the motive for the murder. Because we don't know why this guy was killed, this cop was killed. They framed her for it, the girlfriend, but there's just a bunch of cover-up by the police department. They're being investigated by the FBI, by the way, the Canton Police Department. Well, all these videos about what was the motive for the murder, they don't know. They don't have any inside information. They didn't interview anyone. You have to watch 20 or 25 minutes into the video, and then they just start speculating. Like, that's just the wrong title. You should just call it a bunch of guys shooting the breeze who know nothing. You shouldn't even make a video if you don't even know, just for the title. I'm going to call this video something about catchy YouTube titles. What do they call it? The YouTube titles that are... I try to make my titles interesting enough that people will watch without lying. Because if I just uploaded a video earlier today about parts work. If I say parts work, no one is going to watch. It's going to get 5 views. But if I say, why do you get triggered? What are the lost parts of you? Some people might get curious. It's still not going to get as much views as if I said, I fucked 4 guys today. And I did fuck 4 people today. That video would have got a lot of views. Probably a couple thousand. Okay, I did fuck 4 people today. More or less. Okay? But I don't really talk about that part of my life on here. But what I'm saying is that people are going to watch certain types of stuff more. I think that not that many people are interested in personal development as are interested in like sexuality or scandals or true crime. That's where the money's at, you guys. But the channels that do the true crime, if they don't have, like Grizzly True Crime is really good. She does no BS. She goes over the stuff, and if she runs out of stuff to talk about on one of the cases, she just finds a new case. As opposed to these other guys who don't have enough material on the current cases, there's nothing happening. Then they try to come up with something that's called clickbait. I hate the clickbait. Like, don't lie to me, you know. I subscribe to your channel. I'm just not talking to you guys, but these guys. I subscribe to your channel because I want to watch your stuff. And now you're lying to me and you're deceiving to me, so bye. That's what's going to happen. It also pertains to the, it could pertain to the wars. It could pertain to true crime. If there is nothing happening, I'm on YouTube to be intellectually satisfied, you know, because I make my money in my erotic space, my sensual space, my sexual space, which is super yummy. But there's more to me than that. So that's where YouTube comes in. That's where I learn and I get curious and I share myself from the head up usually. And yeah, I really like YouTube, but creators have to be really authentic. There was another creator I stopped watching a long time ago because every time the littlest thing happened, he was like, World War III. I'm like, that's just too clickbait. You're too desperate. That's why I don't see YouTube. For me is a fun thing, and that's good because unless you're like a hooker, you know, bookkeeper, hooker, hookers and sex workers make a lot of money. You don't have to deceive people. But any other job, you often have to deceive people to try to make money. That's the unfortunate thing. Like the politicians have to sell their soul to the lobbyists, to the corporations, to the elites. The YouTubers have to, you know, you have to sell out to get people to watch your stuff, to try to sell your merchandise. I think it might be really hard for people to make money the honest way, you know, and then when people do make a lot of money, like that Nick Rekieta guy, they end up, you know, not being able to handle it, and they start doing coke, and then their whole life goes downhill. So, I guess I'm in a position to, you know, complain about it, but I hope that these guys who do YouTube, they have to find other content to talk about or find other sources of income, because gaslighting us with your titles to try to get more views is going to backfire the same way that we're backfired on the government that's constantly lying to us. I was reading the comments today on one of the geopolitical videos, and the comments were really good. It was a bunch of former military people leaving comments on how they joined the military to fight for freedom. And then starting around like 20 years ago, a lot of them got really fed up when they're like, we went to Iraq to fight for freedom and we were sent there to die. It was not about freedom. It was about making McDonnell Douglas rich, Boeing rich, Raytheon rich. It was about giving the elites more power. It had nothing to do with freedom. We killed a lot of people. We hurt a lot of people. We made a lot of enemies. I do not want my children to fight in this. And then also a lot of these military guys were really disgusted by, you know, the military was always about mental and physical toughness. And now they're bringing all these like fruity loopy people, gay, trans people in, not gay people, trans people. And women. Women should not be in the military because they have to give them exceptions to fight. The military has always been about toughness, mental and physical toughness. And when you bring in women who you have to make exceptions for because they're not as physically tough, or these trans people, you know, we look like fruit flakes, you know, to other countries who don't do all that. Their military is a lot stronger. So a lot of guys that were in the military, and they're like, now you're forcing us to take your untested medications, like the COVID vaccine that was untested. They were forcing them all to take it. So a lot of guys are turned off even from the military. And I think because the government lies to us so much and we know it, I think that people, when they watch YouTube videos, they want to have some truth. They lie to us on the mainstream media. The government lies to us. You know, everybody's lying to us. So I go to YouTube to get some honesty. And if you're lying to me too, I mean, I'm not triggered by it, but I'm like, why are you doing that? And I just noticed it lately as a new trend. So just to sum up this video, it's like a flow piece kind of a thing. I'm wondering if you guys have noticed anything like that, or if that's just me kind of, these particular channels that I happen to watch. And people getting desperate for more viewers because more YouTubers maybe are getting successful, they're getting fewer viewers, maybe they need to make more money because of all the inflation. What do you think? And if I ever clickbait you, you better call me out on my bullshit. I do not ever want to do that to you guys. There are things about myself I will not tell you, other than I fucked 4 people today. And they weren't all men, by the way. I didn't tell you that part. But it was actually only 3 men and 1 female. Yes. But I don't usually talk about that part of my life because it's no one's business. But if I did, I would get a lot more views. And if I put out the contact information for how people get in touch with me, for my Just for fans, I would make a lot more money. But I'm not here for that. I want my YouTube channel. I don't want my YouTube channel to be like, I need this to make money. Fortunately, this is a part of my life. I do make a little bit of money, but just a few hundred a month, really, nothing more than that. Because you can see from my views, but there are people making tens of thousands of dollars a month. I don't want to be driven by the need to make money, because then I'm not, this is a channel for me to just express myself, which is a luxury and a privilege. When it comes to my job, though, where I do make money, I do struggle with that. How to, keep people wanting to pay, like for my Just for fans, or make bookkeeping appointments. And what I realized, I kind of found my groove. It's kind of a different kind of a business, though, where I don't have to lie. Like, the more embodied I am, and the more authentic I am, the more in tune I am with myself, the more people want to be with me. But I don't know if it works that way in other, careers. Although there are some YouTubers are really, okay, so some of the YouTubers I watch, they have like this fancy studio background because they're professionals. Like the Pascal show, I don't know if I mentioned that, the Pascal show that I watch, and the lead attorney. This is my second time making this video, so I don't remember if I put that in the first one or this one. I watch those 2 guys sometimes, not very often, but they have like, they have the super chats, the live stream, the professional backgrounds, and all of that. But then I watch other YouTubers like Royal News Network. She's really, really good. Brittany at Royal News Network, she's super, super good. She just records right there in her home, in one of her rooms. She doesn't have a fancy background, and she's got she's way up there in her views. I personally don't think that, if anybody's thinking of starting a YouTube channel, I'll wrap it up with this. You do not need a fancy background. You do not need one of those microphones, those professional microphones. I'm using my phone right now. All you need is a phone. I have it on a tripod. You don't even need a tripod. Set it on your table. You do not need a phone. Right now, I'm facing outside my window, so the light's coming on me. You just want to have some light coming on your face, a phone. Just make a video. You don't need a speaker or a microphone or anything. Just talking to your phone, whatever you want to say, and then you upload it to YouTube. Once you just click on your video, and there's a share button, right? You can share it to a message or to a Gmail. You click YouTube, and it just is uploaded. That's it. It's very easy. Now, I've heard people say, oh, I want to talk about, I'm going to take gardening or flower, let's say cooking. Okay, I've heard people say something like, I'm very interested in cooking. I want to make a YouTube channel about cooking, but there's so many cooking channels. It doesn't matter, because there's only one you. People do not subscribe to you just for the cooking. They want your personality, okay? So there are a lot of people that do true crime or whatever, fitness or whatever. The people are subscribing because they like how you say it. Okay, not everyone in the world is going to like you, but there'll be a certain amount of people who like your look, your background, your voice, the way you analyze things, the way you explain things. You're just going to be drawn to you. They're going to have chemistry with you. So do not compare yourself to other people. I always tell people this. If you have a desire to create something, when you have a desire to create, that's your creativity, you have to give it life. You have to give your creativity life. This is my opinion. Okay? Do not let fear stop you. And it may not end there. Like, you might start a YouTube channel and then you might be like, oh, this wasn't for me. I'm glad I tried it. But now, because I did this, now I feel confident about doing this or doing that. It's just one more thing that you did, that you tried. It can be a step to the next thing. Like when I wrote my book, The Fuck List, it became a step into when I was an escort, which I don't do anymore. I'm a bookkeeper now. And so one thing leads to another. You don't always know where it leads. Sometimes people have a goal to where they want to go, but that's only one way of approaching life. I know I'm going way off into other tangents, but another way of going through life is you have a desire to create something or an idea and you give it life. And you don't have to know where it leads. That's the thing, you guys. You do not have to know where it leads. Okay? When I divorced my husband, I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't know how I was going to provide for myself. I knew nothing. I had to take a leap into the unknown. And there's actually a great... I'm going to tell you some of my most memorable spiritual moments were when I felt like I was jumping into the unknown, like I had to let go of everything that I held on to, and I had to let go of it all. Financially, relationally, and it was when I was willing to let go and did not know and be open to whatever could come my way. I still remember those moments. I remember sitting in this apartment, 2013, 1 week away from being homeless. And I remember that particular moment sitting at my dining room table. And that was right before I made the decision to be an escort. And I remember sitting there, and I remember not knowing how I was going to provide for myself, and being willing to be homeless, being willing to do whatever God wanted me to do or the universe wanted me to do, just being so open, and then not knowing. And I remember, and you guys might think, oh my God, she was 52, she's such an irresponsible person. But no, all that holding on to money and my stocks, my house, my money is very constricting. I had saved for retirement since my 20s. I had spent 30 years saving for retirement, 25 years saving for retirement. I built a house from scratch. You know, I invested in stocks. Like, I was the financial planner in our family. Like, I was always so interested in that. But I was like, 25 years of that, it just kept me so stuck and so rigid. So I let it all go. I spent it all till I had nothing left, and I was free of it all. I was free of it all. The burden of all of that, trying to save and trying to think I had control. A lot of that saving was, for me, was about having some control over my future, you know, some safety plan or something to some extent. That's what we're told, right? But we're never really in control. So I let that all go. And I was just, I know you guys think this is weird, but it was, I still remember that moment, even though it was 10 years ago, because internally, it was such a moment of expansion and space. It was where I was just willing. I just let go of everything, and I didn't know what would happen. I was willing to let happen whatever happened. I had a similar thing when I was debating about whether I should divorce my husband. I was like, I'm willing to stay if God wants that. I'm willing to leave if God wants that. Either way is going to be really hard. I'm willing to go either way. I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm not committed to either way. And so that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you got to be willing to be like, I don't need to know what happens next. I'm just willing to go into the unknown. Going into the unknown, maybe a better example would be like when there was a guy I really liked and he blew me off and I had to let him go. And in my mind, I pictured myself as jumping, mentally or emotionally jumping, like jumping out of a window, just a story down, jumping into a window, not knowing where I would land or if I would land or how I would land. It's just jumping and just free falling. So that's what I'm talking about when I say you don't have to know what the next step is. I'm putting it more into like an emotional thing because there's a lot of space that's created when you're like, I don't need to know what happens next. I don't need to control the outcome. I don't need to control how people will perceive me, how they will like me. I am giving voice to my inner desire, my inner creativity, and I'm willing to see where this could lead. And I don't need to know where it would lead. This is what I feel called to do. So that's why I think YouTube is a really, really great vehicle for expression. Some people do YouTube videos where they're just talking, but I think that's lame. I want to see people's faces. And I don't want to see a bunch of clips. I don't like it when they do a bunch of clips and then they have to talk. I like it when somebody's just talking and telling me something. But there are many ways to run a YouTube channel. Some people prefer a podcast. You can do that. Some people like to write books. You can do that. Self-publish on Amazon. Whatever desire you have, we in this country right now, these people resorting to clickbaits, getting back to my point of this video, they're just desperate because they got nothing else going on, no other better way to make money. We need more creativity, more people to think of ways to make money, We should have like more farmers markets and bartering and, we really need the government to help support stuff like that rather than all these wars. And that was the other thing these people were leaving on the comments on that military video was like, why are we in all these wars when we have all these problems at home? So we need people to make us laugh, make us smile, entertain us, because there's a lot of pain in the world. Our US bombs are killing babies. It's our bombs killing babies, and Biden doesn't give a shit. I'm with Israel. Nikki Haley. Get them. Finish them off. She's writing on the bombs, Trump's no different. And another thing, since I'm going on and on. Biden and Trump, okay, they're all funded by the same kind of group. So Biden's biggest donor is one Israeli lobbyist, and Trump's biggest donor is another Israeli rich guy, oligarch. Okay, they're just different guys. Shell Adelson's wife is supporting Trump. I forgot who's supporting Biden. And then you have, as far as Wall Street, BlackRock is supporting one. Blackstone is supporting the other. Like, they're all bought and paid for. They're no different. That's why I always find it hilarious when people tell me, I'm for Trump, I'm for Biden. And I just find it kind of amusing. So I'm like, why? Because I'm just curious why. Because I know, they're both funded by the lobbyists. There's no difference between them, It's like, so, but we can't, you've seen me make my videos about the U.S. losing in the world standing, and it's very sad, but we can't just sit around and mope. We also need people to entertain us, be sensual with us, entertain us, make us laugh, prepare good food. We need that too in our human life. We can't just all get upset about this, because honestly, I don't think we can stop this momentum in the war machine, the Wall Street machine, the big pharma machine. I can't stop it. You can't stop it. It just has to collapse on its own weight. That's the only thing that's going to change it. And I think it has to collapse on its own mediocrity. It's just going to have to collapse. The dollar will devalue. We'll lose military standing more and more gradually over time. It's going to be a gradual decline. And there's nothing we can really do to change the system. It's just going to cave in on itself, you know, I think. So I just think that we do need to, you know, have people make YouTube videos and stuff. So anyway, I don't like the clickbait, and there is room for you to make money on YouTube if you want, and if not, it is at least a creative outlet that you can try. And you know, I've been doing this for so long. I've had 11,000, 10,000 subscribers for a couple years. It doesn't go up. I mean, I wish it would. That would be so good for my ego. But God doesn't want me to have a big ego. You know, having a big ego, if I had 1 million subscribers and I would be like, oh my God, I'm so hot, I'm so powerful, I might start doing clickbaity things. I might start thinking I'm all that. So this keeps my ego in check and keeps me humble, I think, you know. It keeps me humble. It's very, very challenging to have a lot of money, power, or status and remain authentic. I don't even know if anyone can do that. That's almost a superhuman feat. But what do you think? What do you think about any of this stuff in the video? I am going to be back for the comments. And thank you for watching my video on clickbait, which went all over the place.